Ghosty Glitz. Alright, I'll quit with that. Welcome to a new video. Gems, the front man item. The only one that we really care about usually, unless you're stacking rare jewels for those Prisma upgrades for a super rare card that doesn't take super rare jewels for some fucking reason. Gems. Fuck a coin, fuck a red gate key. Legend says that the Krabby Patty secret formula is gems. Never feels like there's enough when you're blowing 50 of them for a copy of Hate Buster. It's fine, because we are here today to talk about getting 9,999 gems as quickly as possible. Now, why that number? Well, that's the maximum amount if you didn't know. Veterans of the game, I'm sure you know most of this, so this video is definitely angled for newer players of the game. Big shout out to my Discord member Kierski? I believe it's Kierski. He suggested this video and he helped me with the script and the outline for it. You're a king, Kierski. Alright, enough gab. Down the rabbit hole of beating Konami's greed. Let's do it. So when you boot up the game, you'll immediately notice the two most accessible ways to get gems will be character level ups and the duel quizzes. I'll start with the quizzes since their direct reward is gems. We have 3 levels for duel quizzes indicated by these stars, which are also indicative of their difficulty. But the shoe doesn't always fit with that. I swear some of the 3 stars are easier than some of the 1 stars. Anyway, regardless of difficulty, you're getting 15 gems per completion. These quizzes put you in a direct scenario where you need to play it out to a victory in a set way that you have to figure out. Occasionally there are a couple paths to victory, but that is seldom ever the case. If you get the basics of the game, you should be able to clear out most of the 1 and 2 star duel quizzes. Seriously, a lot of them are really easy. And in a way, these quizzes can also help you as a player, seeing combos and paths to victory with cards you normally wouldn't play. So sometimes it doesn't even feel like farming, and you might find yourself enjoying them. Alongside these are the loner deck duels. These are a step up. You get 30 gems for each one that you complete, and this is different from the quizzes. No set path to figure out. You're just given a deck against an NPC at varying difficulties, but you can do whatever you want here. Use the spells, set the monsters, use the RKO. Up to you. Now, moment of truth, as of making this video, you can get 6,320 gems by completing all of the duel quizzes and loner deck duels. Oftentimes it is a slower and unoptimal way of obtaining gems, however, it is always there for you to do when you need them. And getting over 6,000 from it, it is quite nice. That's around 120 packs, or 240 packs for a half off gem sale for the older boxes. And if you don't know what that is, from time to time, usually during bigger events, Konami will make a decent amount of the older boxes 25 gems a pack instead of 50, which if you ask me, it should be that way all the time, but what can you do? A new main box and mini box is added to this half off catalog each time the sale comes up. So moving on to characters, the amount of gems you can receive by leveling up characters is different for certain ones. So the OG characters, this includes Yami, Kaiba, Joey, Taya, Pegasus, Mai, Yugi, Weevil, Rex, Mako, Merrick, Bakura, Bandit Keith, Shizu, Odeon, Mokuba, Paradox Brothers, Arcana, Bonds, and Espa, in GX, Jaden, Zane, Aster, Jesse, Chaz, Alexis, Cyrus, Bastion, and Crowder. You can get 1,540 gems per character by leveling these specific ones up to 30. The distinction here from the other characters is the level 30 reward being 300 gems. Then along the way, Konami decided that that was way too generous and made the level 30 reward a specific card to each appropriate character. Volcanic Scattershot for Axel Brody as an example. Also, level 10, 15, and 30 give you 50 gems for lifetime achievements. To note that level 30 does apply to almost every character in the game. In total for these characters, that is 44,660 gems. And this means 1,240 for the rest of the characters, with a few of them at 1,190 instead, which there are 45 remaining characters that don't have the level 30 300 gems, but for all of them, getting them to level 30 is 55,800 gems. So altogether, we're looking at over 100,000 gems for leveling characters up to 30. So it's a lot, but this is not something that's going to happen quickly. It does take a while to level up characters up to 30, but let's go over some efficient methods to help with that. Now, of course, you gain experience by dueling with the character you are using, 500 EXP per duel. Your ways to duel are the duel world, which you can auto-duel. The duel world includes the Vagabond, which will give you 4 or 5 times the experience for defeating them, and they do spawn multiple times per day. However, it does take the standard duelist in the duel world time to respawn. respawn. That's where the duel orbs come in. By using 10 of them, you can respawn all your dual world duelists at the highest level. And at lower levels in the game, indicated by the amount of stage missions you've completed, you will have less standard duelists to duel. Next up is the gate. That gate will let you duel a legendary duelist at certain levels depending on where you're at in the game, but for the intensive purposes of leveling up characters, you'll want to go against the level 10s anyway. Now this is very important. I do see players that do not know this yet or have just glanced over it. You can adjust the reward multiplier from ×1 to ×3. What this means is you're essentially getting the reward for dueling the character 3 times by only dueling them once, which means one duel with this multiplier turned on is 1500 EXP. This is the best way to save time. You can do this against the standard duelists as well. Now the downside is if you lose, it does count as 3 losses, which is 700 EXP less than the 1000 you would get by defeating 2 duelists. You really have to watch out for this with the auto duelist, which you will want to use against the standard duelist because it does save time. For more on that, I do have a budget auto duelist deck on my channel, a profile for it, that is near perfect against all levels of the standard duelists. It loses to the Vagabond and will occasionally brick so hard that it loses to the level 57 NPCs, but it is rare. There are also other really good auto duel decks, but they are more expensive. I'll leave a link in the description to a section on duellinksmeta.com on this specifically, and it is quite helpful. However, they are not all free to play. Shout out to Jade Hex for making this guide. He is the content manager for Duel Links Meta and one of the greatest people to ever contribute to this game. Anyway, against level 10s at the gate, you cannot auto duel. However, it's damn near impossible to lose against them. The easiest gate character at level 10 is probably Duel Monsters Taya Gardner, but really they're all very easy. And how easy they are also means they are quick to beat. This makes it the most efficient way to level up characters, kind of by far. The next method is the PvP arena by playing ranked or casual duels. Each win is 500 EXP and each loss is 250. That's why I don't recommend surrendering from every duel you know you're gonna lose, because EXP does add up over time. You get nothing if you surrender. Some people even use suicide decks in casual just to quickly build up EXP, because the gate duelists do have a cost in the form of gate keys. There are standard gate keys and gate keys of other colors. Each gate key requires standard keys and a specific color key that is different for each legendary duelist. When you run out of these, you can no longer duel at the gate, and you win gate keys from dueling in ranked and casuals. So if you run out, it's best to grind in the PvP arena until you have more, and the standard duelist and Vagabond will also give you gate keys. And to note, there is also the Vagrants in the shop for $1.99, occasionally on sale for 99 cents. You can spawn 5 duelists in the duel world that give you 5 times, 7 times, twice, 10 times, 15 times, and 20 times the EXP for defeating them. So 10,000 EXP for beating the times 20 as an example, but this does defeat the purpose of the whole free-to-play angle of this video, but hey, it's there, it exists, but not worth it if you ask me. And lastly, you can win gems directly by defeating legendary duelists, but it's usually 1 or 5 gems against level 10s, up to 15 gems against higher level gate duelists, but they do use up a lot more keys. So how long does it take? How many duels? It's very inconclusive because it doesn't take into account the ranked duels, duel losses, the Vagabond, or the occasional 1.5 EXP boost campaign. In this campaign, each duel is 750 experience for a win and 375 for a loss, making it 2,250 EXP for each 3 times victory. Grind the hell out of your characters when this is active. So generally speaking, it takes 125 duels at 3 times EXP with gate duelists and standard duelists to get each character in the game to level 30. So yeah, it's quite a bit. Again, you won't get that 100,000 gems easily. It takes months if you grind every day. But don't feel too overwhelmed. It means you can stockpile a good amount of gems when you need them, and getting them to level 15 isn't nearly as many gems, but it's still a good amount and it takes way less time, as the EXP needed for leveling up increases as you go. Now, nothing I've talked about so far takes the events into account, and I didn't talk about gems you get from winning in the PvP arena, so let's start with that. You get gems in ranked for the amount of duels you win in a given season, which is usually a month, and ranking up, of course. Ranking up from one level in a specific category is 10 gems. So for example, if you go from gold rank 1 to gold rank 2, you get 10 gems. Then it's 100 for ranking up to a new category. So if you go from gold rank 7 to platinum rank 1, you'll get 100 gems. And hitting King of Games is 200. But for the winning, in the first 50 wins, you'll get 5 gems for 41 of them. The other 9 rewards are tickets. So that's 205 gems. Then past that, you'll get 5 gems for every other win minus the tickets you win too, which is 18 from 50 wins to 100, so that's only 90 gems, but again, it does reset every month. Bringing the total for ranked duels to just under 300, which you can increase with the rank ups depending on where you're at in the ladder. Should be noted you can get 30 more gems for 120, 140, and 160 wins respectively. These are kind of a consolation prize and they do take time. But all the while, you are still gaining EXP for your characters while you're dueling in ranked. So events, I cannot stress this enough. Play and grind in every event. It can get you so many gems. The amount you get for completing and grinding in events varies a lot depending on which specific event it is. And there are also passive events that give you gems basically just for playing the game, such as the mission circuit and Carly Carmine's duel report thing as examples. I would estimate that you can get between 500 to 800 gems depending on the main event, but that's a huge give or take. It's really hard to narrow that down, but I think that's a fair estimate. But another thing is a lot of events give you a chance to grind EXP for characters without using up gate keys or duel orbs. One of the latest events, for an example, the 3 Emperors, lets you duel multiple times using the event resources instead, which you can stockpile by once again just playing the game. This specific event even included multiple vagabonds to duel as well, which brings me to the EXP booster, the Blue Jewel. This multiplies your EXP reward in a duel by 1.5. Only use these against the vagabond, since it's a multiplier of what you have already earned. So you'll get way more from the vagabond than just 750 EXP using this on a standard or gate duelist. And to note, this EXP booster does not work on the vagrants that you get from the shop if you happen to take that route. And next up, we have the stage missions. You get 50 gems for each stage mission you complete in a given duel world, which as of making this video, there are 6. Duel Monsters has 60 stages, while the rest of them have 30, so that is 10,500 gems for doing all of them, but is actually a lot more because completing certain tasks in each stage will also earn you gems, usually 30 per. The missions tell you exactly what to do, and of course you're simultaneously gaining EXP for your characters while doing them. And lastly, for this guide, Konami does give out gems quite a bit, usually as login bonuses or login events such as the card flipper campaign. Also, Konami does give out 500 gems for each new box that is released and adds 2 loner deck duels and duel quizzes for each one, adding more gems that you can farm over there. So lastly for this video, I want to go over some pointers from Kurski, the awesome Discord member who helped me make this video, and these are his tips. Number 1, only spend gems when you've reached 9,999, as after that most gems have an expiry date, so shop then. Number 2, realize that 9,999 gems isn't unobtainable. It looks impossible until you actually start going for it. Number 3, don't spend gems on things that aren't, number 1, a staple or tech, number 2, a core of a deck you plan on finishing, and number 3, a deck you really like. Remember, it's a game. Have some fun. Number 4, always try to keep your gem count above 5,000 at a time, because going straight to 0, unless it's something you need or love, will be very demotivating to restart the grind, and don't jump on hype trains. And number 5, don't forget to go outside and touch the grass, man. Get out there in nature. So that's gonna do it for this video. I hope this was helpful for a lot of the newer players. I didn't go over everything like the weekly missions because you can get just a very negligible amount of gems for that, usually 20 or so per week. But if you have any more questions, I'll be happy to answer them in the comments, or any more pointers I can give for grinding gems. I'd like to give one last shout out to Kursky for helping me make this video, and have a nice day, everyone.